Hello, BitChute. Today I want to back up High Impact Flicks, who's also on BitChute. On one of his videos he made commenting on some drama he read online from a mass shooting that happened. It was somebody trying to change the American politics because of the tragic event, and that person was Larry Huynh, and he said it wasn't mental health that killed these people, it was an automatic rifle with bullets. I think that's a bad argument because that same type of logic can be used to ban other things like video games. Massive online MMORPG video games like RuneScape or World of Warcraft that are very popular and take up lots of time can be criminalized using that logic, because some people die from blood clots from playing too much. So just as in this case with the video games, people die just in the same way from that mass shooting people died. It was the bad behavior of some bad people that should be condemned, not the method that killed people. Now, again, I'd like to say that it's tragic that those people died. I hope that never happens again. And although I know the chances of it happening again are high, because I think there will always be bad people. And that's evident in other countries that ban guns as well. They just find other creative ways of killing people. And you could say, well, maybe there's a few less deaths there, but then you could also say, well, there'll be a few less deaths if you ban video games. It's about comfort levels. So if that person, Larry Huynh, was honest or wanted to make a better argument, he should have just said, it's my comfort level to be in a position with less defense, so that some people in society would have a slightly higher chance of living, maybe. But I think that effective self-defense is very dignifying. It's a very positive thing, because you have more liberty, you have more bodily autonomy, you have more say in your own life, and you transfer the power from the group to the individual. You value yourself as an individual more than you value yourself as a group. Instead of like a hive society, with in nature there's ants who usually, and bees who do that, who cooperate like that. By forcing each other to help. It's not voluntary. If you disobey, well, I don't know what happens to ants if they disobey. Well, they can't mate with the queen. They'll probably get killed if they go close to the queen. Yeah, but anyway, what I want to say is that what High Impact Flex said, he said very, very eloquently, and I just wanted to back him up and say that I agree that his logic is very poor and he's being dishonest when using it. What else? There was he also High Impact Flex covered another video about a guy who, one of the people who on the internet, not interview, but I forget what the word is. Audit, that's the word. They audit the police to make sure that they follow the Constitution. And he stole an apple and an orange, and High Impact Flex called him out, and I think that's a good thing because it's inappropriate to steal food like that. The only place where I would see where it's maybe a gray area is if you work there and you taste some of the food that you're making. And I say that because I've been in that situation myself, and I thought it was appropriate to taste. My excuse could have easily been, well, I'm just making sure that I made the right ingredients. But it was more than just that. I was just hungry. And I think it's understandable to get samples of food while working in the food industry. But if you do something like lick the food and put it back, that's not cool. That's just disgusting. It's being disrespectful. As far as High Impact Flex made a couple videos about right to travel, I think he doesn't understand or is being disingenuous when he says that we have a right to travel guaranteed by the Constitution. Maybe well, it depends what role. What role is he speaking to when he says that? Is he speaking to the role of the person being converted, or is he speaking to the person who has already been converted? What I mean is, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I think the Constitution says that you have a right to pursue happiness. That's the part of the Constitution that allows you to operate heavy machinery on the freeway without a license. As in, you can vote to have no license and be in agreement with the Constitution because your pursuit of happiness, or you can vote to have a license being necessary to drive heavy machinery on the roads, and that could still be acceptable under the Constitution because it's your pursuit of happiness, if that makes you happy. And when the Supreme Court said you have a right to drive without a license, right to travel, I'm pretty sure that only applies to that court case, and it does not apply to future court cases. And I know that because I've done research on it after I was stopped by a cop. And I told him about the right to travel, and he let me go. Well, that was the first time. That gave me confidence. But then the second time I got stopped, they did not let me go. And I wanted to sue them. And I did more research, and that's when I stumbled on the idea that the Supreme Court rulings don't apply to future cases. They only apply to that specific case. And the logic and the broad logic of how does the Supreme Court fit into the Constitution, I think it's a backslap. It's a backslap to people with too much momentum, too much energy, too much focus on the wrong thing. It's a backslap because they're saying, because you spent so much time and so much effort fighting us, fighting American government, that you went all the way to the Supreme Court, we'll let you go. Because you can in theory be right. But all of your other neighbors still have to follow the locally elected laws. Unless they also are so butthurt about it that they go all the way to the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court is like the nicer version of, or the less strict version of the locals. That's one way to think about it, and I think that's the way the government works. I'm not sure. But I'm curious to know what your opinions are, BitChute, or even my friends and relatives who might not be on BitChute. I'm curious to know what are your opinions on right to travel and the dignity aspect of being able to protect yourself in a dangerous situation. And I also want to give an update on my weight loss. I have lost 4 pounds the last 2 weeks. But in the video that I have, it was when I ate a bunch of dinner, so I was off by 2 pounds. But yesterday I weighed, it was a loss of 4 pounds. And that was because I missed a third of the exercises. I was exhausted. And I increased my calories by like 400 calories. One strategy moving forward that I could think of is to skip the Friday workout and sleep in on Saturday and then work on the Saturday and Sunday instead of having Sunday off. That way I'll make sure I get enough sleep. And as far as calories, I think I'll maintain the higher calories because I want the muscle. I'm pretty sure that more calories is more muscle. So for now, I'll have more calories. Alright. See you next time.